This is an update on vk6rth, a 2 metre repeater which had a audio problem. The audio would either break up or distort or not be there at all. I tracked it down to this board. You could hit various bits and pieces almost anywhere and the audio here would break up coming out of this board where it was fine going in. So naturally I assumed the dry joint was in the board, but in fact it wasn't. In addition, there's a mute voltage which is on a purple wire which comes in here, which mutes the audio when the mute closes and opens when the mute is open. Well, that voltage was varying. That was the problem. As you tapped it, that voltage would go up and down. Since then, the fault has gone away. I tracked it back to the receiver board, but whilst in the receiver board, I could not make the fault reoccur, and I just cannot make it do it now. Nothing I do will make the fault reoccur. But what I did notice is the voltage, the mute voltage coming in on this purple wire was really not going far enough down to 0 volts, so that it was on the almost on the point of the audio transistor which mutes the audio of half being turned on, half being turned off. So I put a 10k resistor between base and ground, and that should ensure that that transistor turns off much more thoroughly than before. So even if this minor little fault reoccurs, it shouldn't be an issue. I'll show you that on the circuit. This is where, that's the audio switch. It switches the audio to ground, and the mute voltage, which was intermittent, or not by much, but going up and down enough so that the voltage here would at times be high enough when it shouldn't be, and it would short the audio out either partially or entirely. So what I've done is I've wired a 10k resistor from there to ground. That assures this transistor is much more off when it should be, and when it's on, of course, the voltage is high enough for the 0.6 base emitter voltage. So there lies the problem, I hope, and hopefully it's fixed it, even though the exact fault was not found. Finding intermittence can be really difficult. That should just about do it. I'll just show you one brief thing. Just wait. I'll turn the repeater off and on again. Hopefully you can see the audio over there. Now if I change the audio level in all these repeaters, if I drop it right down to 0 initially, as you increase the audio, it'll get to a certain point where, and I'm still increasing the audio, but you'll notice we're up to 1 kHz deviation. At around about 2 kHz deviation input to the repeater, the audio then just simply compresses. In other words, I'm still winding the audio up, but the output on the repeater is not increasing. And this means that stations that have got low audio, that's barely 1.5 kHz deviation, are still producing 5 kHz output on the repeater. But stations that are producing 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 all produce 5 kHz deviation. So it's about 6 dB of compression. Most useful. So that's it, hopefully fixed, vk6rth.